right. So, Will, thank you for taking the time. You've been through a lot to get back to Hawaii.
That's
How are
correct.
you feeling?
Oh, I feel relieved and so happy that even though I cannot touch my family, at least I can see them if I get out from my door and look at them. It's good.
Well, and just share a little bit about some of your experience. I know it took you almost 40 hours to get home because you were essentially stranded in Manila.
Yes, I was stranded in Manila. When I was stranded, I called the U.S. Embassy. In fact, I called the U.S. Embassy and I asked them what can they do to the U.S. citizens who are stranded in a foreign country. And yeah, they were able to get back to me, but I was already home when they got back to me. I
Wow,
was
what was their advice?
I was already no. They told me to log in and register, and I did. And they really called me back, but after a week, I think, after they called me back.
So, I guess what happened to you while you were there? You were there for a business trip and then they did the lockdown and then
Yeah,
what happened from there?
I had a flight for an airline, and they will keep and sending me some messages that my flight is I'm ready, and that my flight is ready. In fact, I was already at the airport, and I'm still receiving some text messages that my flight will leave in 2 hours, but the airport was empty. I think it was an automatic messages that they have been sending to their clients, to the passengers. So I did not
Hmm.
make it that day. And then I make another reservation for another airlines that will stop in Tokyo, Canada. But apparently it was canceled again. And then I take another reservation. Every time you make a reservation for any airlines, they will take your reservation. They will really take your reservation. They will take your money. But apparently when the time has come that you fly, it was canceled. So I did that for 3 airlines. But finally on Asiana, yeah, it was Asiana connecting with United. That's the time I was able to make it. But I have to go to Korea, San Francisco, and then to Honolulu. It was a 37 long hours flight.
Wow. And all of them were essentially hotspots for the outbreak. What were you noticing? Were there a lot of different protocols to be protected?
Yes, when like in Honolulu, I mean in Incheon, Korea, they want us to wear a face mask at the airport before you go to the line. They want you to have your own face mask. If you don't have one, they provide you. So
And what
they
about
were
San
very,
Francisco?
but there were no people at all. In our flight, there was only like 30 of us in a very big aircraft. And then when we were in San Francisco, that's the time I noticed it's a little bit lax. They are not that strict in San Francisco. The immigration officer, because that was my port of entry, the immigration officers and the securities are not wearing any face mask at that time. Even when we
Mhm.
are already inside the airport, the gate, because I waited like 2 hours for my next flight to Honolulu, and they
Mhm.
were not nobody's wearing a face mask except the passengers who came from Asia. But those people who came from other different city, I guess, they're not wearing any mask. But I was wearing a mask even when I was inside the plane. I was wearing my mask. Uh, when I fell asleep, I also sleep. I was sleeping at the plane. I was wearing my mask.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Now, when
even
did you actually arrive in Honolulu? Which date was that?
Last Saturday, a week ago.
Mhm.
And what surprised me again is when I get off from the aircraft, my God, all those people who are outside, we're not wearing any mask, face mask. The person who's collecting the AG form is not wearing any mask. And then the people who gave me, there was a gentleman who gave me a, a flyer for that 14-day mandatory quarantine. He's not wearing any mask. And then when I was waiting for my family at the curb, there are also people who are meeting their families, and they were hugging, embracing each other. They were kissing each other. So I said, I thought we were supposed to be in a quarantine, because my wife and my daughter, when they arrived at the airport to pick me up, they were driving two cars. My daughter was driving my
Mhm.
truck, my wife was driving her car, and then as soon as they see me, they my daughter just parked on the side. We just smiled each other, and then she tossed the key to me, and then I drove myself alone. And then when I arrived at home, I went straight to the laundry room, take off my clothes, laundry it, and then I I went upstairs and took a shower right away.
Mhm. And now you're
My
in
room,
quarantine in a separate area, right?
yes, we are. I'm using our master's bedrooms because there is a bathroom. There's a bathroom in it, so that's where I am right now.
Mhm.
7 days. I've
Now,
been here 7 days.
a week into your quarantine
Yeah,
already.
yeah.
But I think
You know,
you bring up a good point about, you have been in different cities, you've seen the differences between their precautions and ours. Oh, is it really concerning to you that we're not taking this as seriously as those other cities?
yes, yes, that was surprised me because when I was in Manila, believe it or not, every time you go to any establishment, like go to the bank, go to uh, stores, uh, they will check your temperature. They'll after you're taking the temperature, you cannot get in without a face mask. Even it's a homemade face mask, you have to wear all kinds of face masks. They have a lot of kind of face masks. I don't even know if if they are effective, but they are wearing face masks. And then after you enter or before you enter, they will also spray your hands with alcohol. They sanitize your hand and then you get inside. But here uh, in San Francisco, they don't do anything like that. That's why probably that's one of the reasons why our effect our we have so many positive patients because of that. We are not, Americans are sometimes stubborn. They are not listening to any protection at all. They don't protect themselves.
And you bring up a good point. You went through the very, methodical way of getting your car, being separated from your family, getting, your items laundered and being separated. I don't think others are going through that extent. And now we're seeing a lot of the cases are actually residents coming back from overseas travel.
Yeah.
So, what would be, I guess, your advice for the people coming back? Because we're continuing to see a lot of residents trying to make their way home from wherever they're
Yeah.
from.
uh,
So, what should
the
they do?
the Philippine government. I'm talking about the Philippines just because that's where I came from. The Philippine government is not stopping anybody to get out, except of course if you are sick. But if you can get out, because they said you are not a prisoner to their country, so you are free to get out if you can find a flight. But I understand that they have a flight now coming out of Manila, but there's no flight from Manila to Honolulu yet, or any countries directly to Honolulu. You have to go to the mainland first, and then you come back here. Well, my advice is they have to follow the guidelines, what the government is telling us to do. There's a guideline that you can check online, and that's what I did. My family and I were reading all the guidelines, and we are following the guidelines. Like even when my wife give me my food, she's wearing gloves. When my dirty plates, put it outside, I have to disinfect it. We are following everything that try our best not to get contaminated.
Mm-hmm. And it's a little bit inconvenient for you because you don't, so you haven't gotten a chance to hug your family?
No, no,
No.
no.
Oh my
Even
gosh.
even my dog, I cannot even
Oh
touch.
no.
My dog is always barking outside, but I cannot even touch my dog. You know, I
Yeah, that's
really, I
discipline.
really want to follow this so that there is no excuses. You never know what I have got during my flight. Because I don't know the people around me, and of course, just for protection for my family, I want to make it sure that they are safe also.
Yeah, and hopefully your example will be other people's example, even if it's, such a difficult 14 days you have to wait for. Are you going to get screened? Are you going to try to get testing to see if you've had it or you will have it?
No, I understand that the only way they take you a test is if you have a fever. And yes, I have this. My wife have this temperature. For me, I have to take it every one in the morning and one in the evening. So far I listed all my temperature, and I'm okay.
Okay, well, good to know. I know there's some debate going on now about whether people should test asymptomatic people because it can be spread even though you don't have symptoms. But it depends on your doctor. So some of the doctors we spoke to are a little bit more lenient. So it just depends on your physician. If you are really concerned and you're high risk, which I would say you're high risk, so
Yeah,
um,
because of my
you might
age,
be able to.
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Did you consult your doctor at least when you got back? After your
Well,
quarantine?
I talked to him. In fact, I talked to him this morning because I need some refill of some of my medicine, and
Mm-hmm.
he's doing fine. Also, I'm glad, and everybody is doing fine in his clinic.
That's good. Good to know. All right. Well, Will, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story and your advice because it's important to let people know how important it is. It's not really about, not um, being out in the public, but also isolating from your family if you've been exposed.
Yes,
So that's a
that's
big
very, very
message.
important. I think everybody should do this, especially if they feel something bad, or if they came from a travel from another country. Then you should take
Mhm.
this mandatory 14-day quarantine. It's not too bad. It's not too long, but
You can
for the
watch TV. I see you have your TV. You have internet, so there's things to keep you occupied at least.
yeah. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.